welcome to a new vlog and trip report. Today we're taking a look at the tram of Gothenburg, and here on the map you can see our route. Today we're taking several lines in the city center of Gothenburg, and here you can see where we are going, and of course we can take a look at the arrival of my first tram here at the most central stop of Brunnsparken. So we are starting with the most modern tram in the network. I will tell you a bit more about the trains later on in the video. We are heading to a station called Berzeligatan. From there the beautiful Goetheplatzen is in walking distance. That's why we were heading there first using line number 5, and then we walked back into the city center. You've already seen that in my last video. So we're now in a train of the type M34, built by Bombardier and Vossloh. There's the type M33 and M34. 33 is the smaller version and 34 is the longer version. Here we can see the departure of the train, and now we're jumping to the main station of Gothenburg. Here we can see an older tram of the type M31, quite a unique looking tram, quite interesting, with an accessible middle car without stairs. And here we can see a newer tram of the type M32. It's a so-called Serio built in Italy. Well, we were lucky that we can travel with the oldest train used, and here we can see it arriving. Here we can see the interesting interior of the train of the type M29. It's quite nice and comfortable, but also quite unique looking. And this type, the M29, was built in Sweden from 1969 to 1972. And as far as I know, they will be phased out this year, so it's the last year that they are in service. So I was quite lucky that I was able to travel with them. That's a single tram, and usually they're used in a double traction, and we are traveling now on the line number 3. And as far as I saw, on the line 3 you have quite high chances to travel with older trains. When I was traveling, they were mainly using the types M29 and M31 on line 3. The line 3 is also quite beautiful. We can see a lot of beautiful buildings of Gothenburg. On our way to the stop called Klintensweg, from there we visited the zoo, and then we will continue later on with a different tram. So the M29 is quite nice and comfortable, a quite interesting tram. Also the interior is quite interesting, as the seats are placed offset, as you have seen in the beginning, so quite an interesting interior. We're now approaching Klintensweg, and there I'm leaving the M29, and we can take a look at the departure and also of the arrival of my next tram, on which we will then continue. So from the oldest tram we have now changed again for the newest tram. We are again in the M34, delivered from 2024. And with this tram we're now on the line 11. And we're going all the way to the end of the line at Saltholmen. Saltholmen is quite interesting because there you're in the scary garden of Gothenburg. You can see the scaries, and also you can take the ferries that are going to the scaries, serving the small villages and cities on the scaries. Our plan was to just take a look at the scary garden, so we hiked a little path up to a little mountain on one of the scaries, but unfortunately there was so much fog that we couldn't see anything. Usually you would have a quite nice view from here, but unfortunately, as you can see, there's nothing to see, so we headed back and took the same tram back into the city center of Gothenburg. Now we can take a look at the interior of the M34, which is quite nice. The seats are quite soft and comfortable, at least for a tram, and they also come with power sockets, so they are quite nice and comfortable. As you can see, seats are quite soft, seat pitch is pretty nice, and here we can see the power sockets. And now we're off, heading back into the city center of Gothenburg. We're going all the way to the station Stenpiren, which is one stop before the central stop Brunnsparken. Now on the way back I can tell you a bit more about the tram of Gothenburg. It is one of the biggest networks in Northern Europe, with a length of around 120 kilometers and 12 different tram lines. It is also one of the few tram systems that survived the switch to right-hand traffic in 1967. It was only one of 3 networks that survived the switch to right-hand traffic. A few lines in Stockholm survived, and the tram of Norrköping survived, and this tram here in Gothenburg also survived, as of course it is quite difficult to change also a tram system from left-hand to right-hand driving. But here it was possible, and now it is one of the biggest networks in Northern Europe. In the meantime, we are now slowly approaching the station where we are leaving the tram at Stenpiren, which is, by the way, also a station where you have a connection to ferries. But for this video, this also means that we are coming to the end of the video, because after the stop in Stenpiren, we walked back to the Gustav Adolf Square, where the bus brought us back to the cruise ship Aida Prima, which brought us to Gothenburg. So here we are approaching the end of the line. Here we are leaving the tram, and we can listen to the sound of the tram during its departure. And that's already it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Here you can see when the next video will be uploaded and the name of the song. As always, I'd like to say thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to comment, like, subscribe, or share the video link, and I hope to see you in my next video then.